Iowa State has lost to Iowa and Drake, so they're trying to dent the win column in the interstate rivalries, and they tried to do it today against a Northern Iowa team playing very well this season. Let's take a look at the starting lineups brought to you by First American Bank. And for Northern Iowa under first-year coach Greg McDermott, it's David Gruber having a terrific year. He joins Middendorf on the front line. Andy Woodley, a shoot last, assist first type point guard. And Eric Smith, and of course the very dangerous Robbie Sieverding in a three-guard attack for the Panthers. And for Iowa State, Jared Holman, the freshman, has started and played well in the last 4 games. Tyree Pearson and Marcus Jefferson join him up front. And Jake Sullivan and Shane Power give Iowa State a very nice backcourt. Time to check the keys to victory, brought to you by U.S. Cellular. Gary?
Well, for the UNI Panthers, I think they have to control Tyree Pearson. They'll probably do that by doubling down, maybe changing up the defenses. This is an extremely small team, so they have to do a good job of rebounding and limiting Iowa State on the boards. For the Iowa State Cyclones, I think part of their offense has to be points from the foul line. They have to outscore the Panthers from the foul line. Second thing I think they have to do, they have to have a strong second half of play. This is where they've fallen down all year. They get outplayed in the second half. They're going to have a strong second half.
Iowa State leads the series 30-6, and they're 12-1 here at Hilton Coliseum, but their hands are full with a good Northern Iowa team this afternoon. We'll have the tip-off next. A good crowd on hand at Hilton Coliseum as Iowa State takes on Northern Iowa. And there's the series history. And you can see that a year ago, Iowa State won by 14, but Joe Breckenridge and Robbie Sieverding didn't play for Northern Iowa, the top 2 players in that game. This is going to be tougher this afternoon. And as our producer Bob Helmers points out, Jamal Tinsley and Cantrell Horton and Paul Shirley and Martine Rancic were playing for Iowa State. So a little different deal. This is going to be a tough game for Iowa State. Larry Eustachy says his team's the underdog, Gary.
Well, they certainly, you look at UNI, beat Iowa at home right there, and they played well. And it's going to be a take an all-out effort for the Cyclones to win this ball game.
It's not a very big Northern Iowa team.
No. Small. I figured up the inches. The starting 5, they average about 6'1½". Tallest guy being Gruber at 6'6".
And they play 3 guards, so Iowa State with a big height advantage, but we'll see if that translates into a big advantage on the boards. Tyree Pearson is the leading scorer for the Cyclones. He swings it over to Marcus Jefferson, who had a nice game against Maryland Eastern Shore. Shot clock at 7, and Sullivan has it near half court. The shot clock now at 5. Sullivan on a drive, lean-in shot, got it.
That's what Sullivan has had to do a lot more of this year, and that's take the ball to the basket, shoot that lean-in one-hander.
I thought he played some of his best basketball this season against Maryland Eastern Shore. He's really starting to look healthier and better. Jefferson knocked that ball away. There he is again, Gary.
Let's watch him here as the clock shot running down and gets a little penetration, beats his man, stay away from the foul, but he is great on that little running one-hand shot.
It's really improved on that in the offseason. He really worked on scoring off the dribble more. He's done a good job with that. Not shooting anywhere near as many three-pointers. Down low is Gruber, in on Holman, and he banked it in. A couple of Iowa kids.
There's 2 good plays there. From a defensive standpoint, pretty good position, kept your hands out of the foul, but Gruber used his body and got on top of Holman, and a nice shot off the glass.
David Gruber's a great story. Just a sophomore out of Solon, but he went to Kirkwood Community College last year, and he's made quite an impact in his first year at UNI. Sullivan will go to the line. And Jake Sullivan doing a nice job putting pressure on that basket. Let's go back and look at Holman at the other end.
Let's watch action here. Gruber's going to flash across, gets the ball in there. Holman's got there, pretty good position. Moves up, comes in there, keeps his hands pretty well straight up. But Gruber just strong and kind of hangs with the shot a little bit. And nice touch.
Well, it's the double whammy for Northern Iowa coach Greg McDermott. He has Jake Sullivan go to the free throw line, and Robbie Sieverding picks up the foul, his first.
Sullivan only shot 58 free throws last year. He shot 49 already this year. Shows the difference in the type of adjustment of his game he's had to make without a Tinsley to pitch the ball out to the three-point line.
He has all 4 of Iowa State's points, and the Cyclones lead it by 2 early on. Andy Woodley is out of that Woodley family. We'll talk about that momentarily, but when you talk about a family devoted to sports. Shot clock at 15. Sieverding spins in. Tough shot. Banked it in. Drew a foul. How did he even get that off, I wonder? And Robbie Sieverding will try for a three-point play.
Just 5'11", he'll have a chance to get that old-fashioned three-point. Takes it in air, spins away, gets just a half a step, gets bumped, and then has the ability and the strength right there as he's falling down to get that shot in.
And he added the free throw, so Sieverding with his first 3 points. Holman got the foul. He's been plagued by foul trouble this season, so something to keep an eye on as he picks up his first. Iowa State on the offensive end, trailing it now 5-4.
Panthers been playing man for man. They'll switch when necessary. Iowa State trying to have some patience on their offense.
Sullivan missed the three. Power with an offensive rebound, and he's fouled by Smith. Great hustle by Shane Power.
Well, that's the rebounding problems that UNI Panthers will have with that lack of size. That ball comes out hard and fast, and you saw Smith grab Shane Power by the...
Pearson hits the jumper. Tyree Pearson with his first 2 points, and Iowa State has a 1-point lead. But if he catches it in the paint, Gary, it's over.
Yep. Tyree with a different hairdo. These players nowadays have more different hairdos than women used to, I think.
Knocked away by Power, cleared by Holman. Iowa State a 1-point lead in the ball. Here comes Shane Power the other way. Had it stripped and stolen. Sieverding into the front court for Northern Iowa. Power chasing.
I really like this Sieverding kid. I classify him at the top of the show as a winner and a real clutch player.
Middendorf rimmed it out. Pearson able to tip it to himself and control the rebound.
Middendorf is always a key to this Panther team.
Sullivan buries a three. Jake Sullivan off to a hot start with 7 early points, and Iowa State leads it by 4. Well, we said it might be a shootout between he and Sieverding. Starting to develop that way. This is Gruber. Kick out to Woodley. He's not a threat to shoot it from there.
Sullivan almost got up off the floor that time, made a mistake.
Gruber in strong on Holman, had it blocked, got it back, and scored. He is tough in there.
You really got to credit him with staying with it. He doesn't give up, and that's why he's been successful.
Larry Eustace really getting after Jared Holman. You know, to him, he looks at a guy like David Gruber, and he says, he's getting it done because he's tough. I want my guy to be just as tough as David Gruber is out there. Sullivan to Jefferson.
There's a habit, I think, that Jefferson's got to get out of, and that's just put the ball down the floor, going to it. Keep it so you can do something with it.
Well, Jake Sullivan's doing something with it. He has 9 early points, and the Cyclones have a 4-point lead. This is Sieverding. He's always a threat. Shane Power has the defensive assignment.
Yeah.
Eric Smith also likes to shoot it. Middendorf with a pump fake to get by Pearson. Leaning, shot wouldn't fall, and an offensive foul. Taking the charge was Jake Sullivan. He's doing it all in the early going. Timeout on the floor. It's been Jake Sullivan's game so far. 9 early points, and Iowa State has a 4-point advantage.
A sequence of defensive plays by Iowa State. Gruber takes it in, gets it blocked by Holman, the young freshman, but hustles over and gets it, takes it up again, and gets it up with the glass for 2. Tyree Pearson overcommits on defense right here, but Sullivan slides over there. Official ruled he got there in time, picked up the charge.
So Jared Holman, the freshman, still learning. And Sullivan, a sophomore, has been through this a few times, helping to lead the way. Just a reminder, coming up at halftime, we'll be introducing you to the first American Bank Academic All-Star, so stay with us at the half. Sullivan with a hot hand early on. This is Shane Power. Holman in the high post. He'll shoot the free throw line jumper and hit it. If he can knock that down, it'll be huge, Gary.
That's right. That's a real confidence builder for him, and he's been shooting well. He's made 6 of his last 10 come this game, now 7 for 11. So probably feeling a little bit more confidence as the season goes on with the shooting touch. 6-point
lead for Iowa State. This game has the makings of a high-scoring game. Robbie Sieverding got past Pearson and drew a foul. He is tough with that dribble.
And just a little change of pace dribble right there at the top of the key. Got Tyree Pearson to relax. Watch here. Just a little change up, and then he turns it on. He beats him, and then right there, he should let him go. We talked about a great free throw shooter. You want to keep him off the line.
Sieverding close to 90%. He's right there with Jake Sullivan at the free throw line.
I remember watching the tail end of the Iowa game that UNI won, and he had 30 points in that game, but I think he had 5, 6 straight down the stretch when they were sealing the win.
Sieverding has now hit 73 of 81 on the season from the free throw line.
You know, Sullivan off to a good start today. I think one of the reasons He's used to looking at bigger guards, and today with 5'9" and 5'10" guards, that basket's going to look a lot more open to him.
Jefferson inside, misses, and the rebound of Jefferson. He took it away from Middendorf. Iowa State really getting some battling done on the boards, but it'll go over to Northern Iowa.
Jefferson probably a better offensive rebounder than he is a defensive rebounder.
Well, this is Chris Foster into the game for the first time for Northern Iowa, and they turn it over. Iowa State will have it. Foster, a redshirt freshman, played a little bit last year and then had a throat condition that forced him to get a medical redshirt. But he's having a very nice redshirt freshman season.
Panthers still in that man-for-man defense.
Shane Power had it stripped. Boy, what a battle for that loose ball as Middendorf and Power fighting for it. And you can see what this game means to these two teams.
Gets him up in the air, steps through, and there's what those little guards will do. They'll get back in there and strip the ball, and then you have the struggle right there. I said before, Middendorf, his play has kind of influenced the wins that the Panthers have. And when he's solid and has a good game, not that he has a big score. I don't mean a 20-point score, but he gets his average a little bit more in rebounds. They're tough.
This is Foster with it for Northern Iowa. They trail by just 4 now. There's a lob weak side. It almost went to the hoop. And the rebound battle stripped off to Ricky Morgan, the freshman for Iowa State. Here he comes. Jefferson. Jefferson to the baseline. Gruber over to deny it, and a foul called as Jefferson took it strong to the basket.
Good strong baseline drive.
Well, getting to the free throw line is really key for Iowa State, Gary.
That's one of my keys in this ball game. It always has been in Larry Stacey style of play. You're going to try and take it in there early, get in the one-on-one situations early as well.
Now here's a stat for you. The 6 games that Iowa State's won, they've made more free throws than their opponent. The 6 games they've lost, their opponent has made more free throws than them. So it pretty much is a strong indicator of how they're doing. Jefferson hit them both. Iowa State has hit all 4 of its free throw attempts. And the Cyclones right now have a 6-point lead. Foster will pump fake and kick it out to Middendorf. Good recovery time by Bynum. And a foul called on Holman. And he's going to have a hard time avoiding foul trouble this afternoon as he battles with Gruber down low.
Gruber's one of those kind of centers that hasn't got the size. He just doesn't step and take it up over the top. If he's maneuvering all the time, will step, go back. Probably you'll see him reverse it underneath the basket a time or two as well.
Pearson back in for Holman. Ball stripped loose. Sullivan to the floor to try to get it. It's picked up by Sieverding, or Foster rather. Now it's a jumper from the corner by Smith. That wouldn't fall, and Jefferson rebounds. Iowa State looking to run, but UNI a good job getting back. Jefferson on a drive. He walked with it. That's been a problem for Marcus. He leads the team in turnovers. And a lot of his turnovers, Gary, have been just like that. Right. Where he drags that pivot foot, drive to the hoop.
Kind of uncertain as to what he wanted to do there. Instead of going up for the shot, and he's looked at a guy he might give it up off to.
A predetermined move that sometimes what you think is going to be there isn't. Sieverding over Morgan with a jumper. Rims out, and Pearson the rebound.
They posted up Sieverding. I like that. That's something my coaches did with me when I was in college and high school. Post up on guys, and you can see he has the ability to score down there.
A foul called underneath on Northern Iowa. There's Larry Eustace out on the floor. Really working with this young basketball team. Budweiser quick stat for you. You can see the shooting early on. Iowa State the advantage. Northern Iowa shows a little zone here, Gary.
We'll see the outside shots.
Sullivan tried to penetrate it, lost it, and he was fouled. He says he was shooting, but the official doesn't agree.
Panther defense with a lot of quick hands. Watch here. He gets the penetration. There comes the hands in there, knocks it away, grabs it again, goes up.
Might have been shooting.
Yeah.
Greg McDermott thought it was a walk.
Sullivan that time reminded me of a guy out of the past of the Big 12 or the Big 8 at that time, Lonnie Kruger. He'd do that a lot of time. Go out and get the ball hit, and he'd make it look like he had taken the shot.
Pearson hits again. Tyree with a couple of buckets in the paint. And Iowa State has opened up an 8-point lead against a good Northern Iowa team. And there's a foul on Pearson. It's going to be his second. So now Tyree Pearson and Jared Holman each have 2 fouls for Iowa State.
And that's been one of the problems for this team this year, is foul problems, and probably reflects back into second half play. You play a little tentative because you're in that foul trouble situation.
Especially their post players, and that's a situation where they've got a big height advantage. You would think it wouldn't be a problem. Sieverding looking for that shot at all times. Bounces it out, stolen by Marcus Jefferson. Iowa State on the run. Jefferson, a bounce to Bynum. Bynum commits an offensive foul. And Larry Eustace is beside himself. We pick it up with a steal.
Good step in there by Jefferson. Steele trying to dribble off his man. Bynum comes down, is open. Now he takes it one-on-one. Let's see. Turned his back to him.
Oh, it's a flop by
Woodley.
It's
not much of a hit there.
Well, that's one thing Andy Woodley will do. He's a hard-nosed player. He loves to draw offensive fouls. He's not a guy that scores, so he's going to try to do other things to help his team win.
I always said as a player, you have to do what you have to do to win. It's the little things like that.
This is Sieverding off a pass from Woodley, and he buries the 3. Robbie Sieverding with 8 early points. And it's a 5-point game.
You look at his stats, only shooting 36% from that 3-point line for the season, but has made 8 out of the last 15 coming in. So he had a couple of off games, 3-point shooting early.
Now there's the zone defense again from Northern Iowa. Ricky Morgan will try a 3. In and out. Long rebound, Sieverding, and Northern Iowa looking to run. Sieverding on a bounce to Foster, and he walks with it. Iowa State gets it on the turnover.
Coach Greg McDermott, I watch him when those turnovers, he's up saying, slow it down.
Well, Robbie Sieverding, the leading scorer in the Missouri Valley Conference, draws Northern Iowa within 5.
Hi, this is Johnny Orr. Whether you're at home or at the office, your best game plan is with Iowa Network Services. We're 150 local independent telephone companies, providing you with the best possible technologies. Hey, you want to get in the game, don't you? Don't miss out on all the action. Call us today at 1-800-CALL-INS, and we'll go to work for you no matter where you are. Check out our website at yourclosestconnection.com.
Both teams shooting the ball well, and Iowa State has a 5-point lead on Northern Iowa with under 12 minutes to play in the first half. Here's another Budweiser quick stat. The turnover story. Northern Iowa with 6 already has to be a concern for Greg McDermott.
And the defense, particularly UNI with a smaller team, anytime somebody tries to penetrate or go inside, they really collapse.
There's a good look at Greg McDermott. In his first year at Northern Iowa, has done just a tremendous job. Spent 6 years at Wayne State, last year at North Dakota State. He's a former Panther player under Jim Barry and Eldon Miller. He returns home. Here's Pearson inside, had a block by Blake Anderson.
Beautiful pass by Morgan, a tough pass. It just is threaded right between a couple of defenders.
Sieverding out to David Gruber. Now Sullivan's right out on Woodley, but he is not much of a threat to shoot it. This is Sieverding. He's a threat anytime he catches it. Power on the switch. They dump it down low to Gruber. He spins in on Pearson. Now Woodley will fire. In and out. And the rebound to Omar Bynum. Just one field goal made this season by Woodley. This is Pearson to the hoop. Oh, and a good look by the freshman Ricky Morgan.
Something that Iowa State was working on here in practice the last few days. Larry, Coach Eustace is trying to get him to push the ball a little bit harder, and that time they find a guy on a transition play.
Well, both these teams like to do that when the opportunity presents itself. Morgan thought he had a block. Sieverding's going to shoot 3 free throws, and this has been a problem for Iowa State this season. Fouling the jump shooter, particularly on 3-point shots.
A little late getting there, and hand down instead of just running up there and maybe, I always say, slash the hand in at the guy, draw it back, try to distract him, but don't come down on him and send him to that free throw line. And a guy like this just loves it. It's like 2 points in the bank.
3 points in the bank, I'm afraid.
yeah.
There's that pass from Morgan, Gary. Really nice look by the freshman. Now Sieverding just did another one. He'll get one more and try for the hat trick. 10 points already for Robbie Sieverding. Averages just under 21 a game. He leads the Missouri Valley Conference in scoring. And the Valley has really had Iowa State's number this year. Boy, the rare miss for Sieverding and power rebounds for the Cyclones. Iowa State's lead is 5.
Panthers back man for man, but they're really dropping off Bynum outside. You saw Middendorf there. He was 10, 12 feet off of Bynum, so that's going to make it tough for any high-low action.
Pearson, right side, missing, rebound, won by Bynum. Iowa State doing a good job on the offensive boards. Howard tried to bounce it over to Pearson. Good idea, but it was kicked out of bounds and it belonged to the Cyclones. We're at Hilton Coliseum in Ames. Glad you could join us this afternoon. John Walters and Gary Thompson with you, and Iowa State has a 5-point lead on Northern Iowa. Just at the midway point of the first half.
Now that out-of-bounds play with the zone. They say they'll change up the defense. This looks like 2-3.
Howard will try a 3. It's off the mark, and the rebound controlled by Foster. And Bynum had a saddle on him. Here's Smith for 3 in transition, missing badly. The rebound by Middendorf, and now Gruber puts it in and draws a foul. And Northern Iowa getting after it on the offensive boards. And Adam Schopper gets his warm-up jersey on.
It's just a lot of effort by Gruber right here. They get down late, rush at him. Shot comes up short. Catch on the inside, get on the inside defensively, poor rebound their position.
Yeah, nobody had a body on anybody, Gary. So Gruber goes to the free throw line. He and Sieverding have scored all the points for Northern Iowa. 7 now for Gruber, 10 for Sieverding, and it's a 19-17 game. Tyree Pearson is out of the lineup. Adam Schopper, the freshman, checks in. Bynum had to make a good play just to catch that ball. Here's Power. Power to the baseline. Tough shot off the window. No good. The rebound to Gruber. Gruber's all over the boards.
Panthers out quick with it.
This is Foster. There's the rebound. Just a 1 rebound advantage right now for Iowa State. And they should be able to out-rebound Northern Iowa. They have a big height advantage, and that's been a strength for this Cyclone team. Sieverding somehow gets open for 3. That's automatic. 13 for Sieverding, and Northern Iowa has the lead at 2019.
Anytime that guy comes off a pick, I think he has to be ready to help him pick up. Because you just cannot turn him loose and give him the shot.
Morgan, a good bounce to Bynum. Had it blocked, but a foul called on Middendorf. And Iowa State will go to the line again. It's an 8-0 run right now for Northern Iowa.
Watch Sieverding come off. He comes off a screen away, and look at there. He's open by about 10 feet. Just the kind of shot you want right at the top of the key, and he nails it.
Gary, the first defender knows he's going to get picked off by a screen, but somebody else has to be there to help out.
And somebody really has to be talking to the man, whoever's covering a kid like Sieverding. You got to be talking to him. Here comes the pick. Left, right.
Bynum hits the free throw, and Iowa State is 5 of 5 at the free throw line. That's going to be a real key for the Cyclones this afternoon. Bynum missed the second. Gruber another rebound. Tie game, 20 apiece. It's been a good one so far at Hilton Coliseum. Third tie of the afternoon.
And both teams are in that 1-on-1 situation.
Woodley gets rid of it to Middendorf.
Yeah, the Panthers doing a good job. They're moving well on their offense.
Sieverding in constant motion on the perimeter. Middendorf draws a foul. He'll go to the free throw line. So fouling continues to be a problem for the Cyclones. Bynum gets his second. So now Holman, Pearson, and Bynum each with 2 fouls.
Shooting for the Panthers.
Larry Eustace, I don't think, is real pleased with the post defense of Iowa State in the early part of this game.
No, that along with the fouls. One thing they always teach and preach is to stay away from the fouls, hands up.
Aaron Middendorf to the free throw line, looking for the first point by somebody other than Sieverding and Gruber. Take a look at Sieverding, Gary.
Yeah, it's a little pick up there. You rub tight. He keeps going there. Got another pick. Probably a moving screen right there by Woodley helping him out. You get by with those off the ball a little bit more you can on the ball.
Middendorf hit 1 of 2. You know, one of the great players moving without the basketball, I used to love to watch Jim Paxson play the game. There was a guy that he moved away from that ball all the time and found ways to work himself free. And that kind of reminds me of what Sieverding does.
I think right now we got triangle and 2. They're covering on Sullivan and Power. Man for man, look like they're zoning the other 3 guys.
Woodley's a pickpocket. Sullivan takes it in and rims in the shot.
Sieverding that time just didn't come quick enough or hard enough to shut off Sullivan. He just kind of made a half move at him and reach.
Iowa State regains the lead. Down low, Gruber stuffed it with the right hand.
And the key to that, he got the little hook pass in there, got it away from the defensive man.
And Northern Iowa takes over the lead. Back and forth they go. 7:15 to go first half. Good ball game.
See if again, if we see what's the triangle and 2.
Ricky Morgan on a bounce to Shopper. Good catch. Knocked out of bounds. Iowa State will have it. Timeout on the floor. 7 minutes to go in the first half. Northern Iowa able to get some scoring done in the paint. And the Panthers, behind David Gruber's 9 points, have a 1-point lead on Iowa State. To go first half, and Northern Iowa 1-point lead over Iowa State. Coach Greg McDermott's team getting it done outside and inside. Points in the paint at even at 10, Gary, and that's somewhat of a surprise.
That's right. Big advantage to Iowa State.
Larry Eustacia has been a coach of the year 4 different times in his 12 years college basketball, including the Big 12 Conference Coach of the Year last 2 years.
Yeah. Recent article, Sports Illustrated had him listed on the top 15 coaches in the country.
Sullivan missed a 3, and Jake with a rare miss. That's now 4-6 on the night for Sullivan.
Dropper a little more active and a little quicker probably. Gruber, a good job again of getting position.
And Chopper fouled him. It's bonus time for both teams. Gruber will go to the free throw line. Iowa State struggling to find that right combination inside.
And UNI on the defensive end have given Iowa State a number of looks, man-for-man zones, triangle and 2, and that's tough for a young ball club. Recognizing defense, adjusting to it.
Shot, man, 1. Here we go.
Gruber at the free throw line puts Northern Iowa up by 3. So this team has really gotten it done behind a couple of guys. It's been Gruber and Sieverding with 24 of the 25 points for Northern Iowa. Long jumper by Bynum is good. Omar Bynum, it's his first 3 of the year. He was 0 of 4 from three-point range before burying that one, and all of a sudden it's tied at 25.
And this Iowa State crowd sensing some urgency, trying to pick the Iowa State team up.
Woodley turned it over. A rare turnover for Andy Woodley. Let's take a look at Omar.
Kick it back. As we said earlier, they're dropping off of him way back in the center. He either got to take that shot or dribble up to the free throw line and take a 15-footer, which is probably more of his shot than the three-pointer.
4th tie of the game. There have been 5 lead changes. These two teams really battling it out.
Shane Power, 14-point-a-game scorer, has not scored in his first.
Holman again from the free throw line. And the rebound to Austin, and he's fouled. Trey Austin was fouled on the rebound. It'll send Northern Iowa back to the line. Bynum gets his 3rd foul. But Gary, you look at the inside players for Iowa State. Holman with 2 fouls. Pearson with 2 fouls. Bynum with 3. Shopper with 1. Way too many fouls by the post players.
And you got to give, it's way too many fouls. You also got to give credit to UNI in this case. Gruber does a good job of getting himself positioned up, and they do a good job of getting the ball. Sometimes when the guy will go to front the other side, they'll reverse it right back, and then he'll seal this man, and he'll get good position for the pass coming in from the wing.
Trey Austin was wide right with the first free throw attempt. You can see the height is on the bench, and when those guys are sitting down, they're not nearly as tall. So all of a sudden, that big height advantage that Iowa State has isn't such a big advantage.
Trey Austin has not scored this year.
Missed both free throws. Jefferson the rebound. Game tied at 25. Sullivan had the hot hand early for Iowa State. Since then, they've kind of spread it around.
Can look at
zone.
Yeah, it's still the triangle of two.
Jefferson into the paint. Rimming no. And the rebound to Blake Anderson. Northern Iowa has out-rebounded Iowa State 12-10.
Jefferson made a heck of a move that time with the ball fake in the air, but just did not convert it.
Chris Foster has yet to hit a shot. It's really been a two-man attack for Northern Iowa. Shot clock at 14. Foster goes to work. This is Sieverding. Overpower with a jump shot. It's short. The long rebound to Austin again. And a kick out to Foster. 18-footer. Missing. And another rebound to Northern Iowa. Taken away by Power. Shane Power into the front court. Pulls up for a jumper and hit it.
First basket of the first half was Power. He was 1-on-3.
Yeah, there was nobody there.
He gotta hit it.
That's right. That gets the crowd going at Hilton Coliseum. The Cyclones up by 2. Smith for 3. Got it. Eric Smith with the first field goal by somebody other than Gruber or Sieverding.
Smith's not bashful out there. He shot it 61 times from that three-point line. He and Foster are kind of the streaky type shooters.
Well, Iowa found that out when they lost to Northern Iowa. Smith had 4 big three-pointers in a row. A blocking foul called on Eric Smith. Let's take a look at the Iowa Network Services clear connection replay. And Gary, Shane Power.
Yeah, he's coming down 1-on-3. Another defender over here to the right just pulls it up and hits a nice jump.
And a clear connection to the hoop at the other end for Eric Smith.
Woo-wee, your closest connection.
Johnny Orr contributing. Sullivan ties the game and now puts Iowa State in front. 13 first-half points for Jake Sullivan, and Iowa State has a 1-point advantage.
Coach McDermott that last time down didn't dispute the foul. He just told his player, remember, keep your hands off him. Keep your hands off him. Don't want to foul Sullivan.
Foster, Holman on a switch.
They got Sullivan on the inside.
Foster goes by Holman, banked it in. He knew he had the quickness advantage, and he was able to go by Holman on the perimeter.
Ended up a tough shot, though. That's a good touch on the ball. He put it high up off the glass.
30-29, Northern Iowa, 9 lead changes in this first half. Marcus Jefferson. They back off of Ricky Morgan. Kick out to Jefferson, puts it on the floor. Tough shot, rimming no, but he drew a blocking foul on Austin. And Jefferson will go to the free throw line.
That was close. From this angle, it looked like it might be an offensive foul. We get
Why
a chance
didn't
to
you shoot
look
it
at
here, Gary? Why didn't you just take the
he's
free throw
wide
line?
open. That's his kind of second guess. He sees that as a defensive man, slides over there, and it looked to me like he might have been there.
Jefferson left all alone at the free throw line. He loves to put the ball on the floor, but that time he was all alone for a free throw line jumper.
You know, Jefferson's shooting 52% from the field, 5 for 9 from the three-point. That's a shot right there he should take with that zone.
Iowa State doing a nice job at the free throw line. 8 of 9, now 9 of 10. And it's probably a good thing because this game is a 1-point game. We've had 10 lead changes. Iowa State by 1.
Holiday greetings from Budweiser.
Protection on the eye-catching PT Cruiser, now starting at $16,800. So hurry in. Plus, now an extra $600 bonus.
It's a 1-point Iowa State lead with 3:26 to go in the half. Let's take a look at some other scores from around the nation and battle of rated teams. Marquette having troubles with Wake Forest. Missouri, a 1-point edge at DePaul this afternoon. And Fairleigh Dickinson trailing Kansas State by 19. Big 12 conference play just around the corner. Man, what What a collection of teams in the conference this year. Oklahoma State, Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma. It's loaded. Texas. Down low. It's Gruber. Jefferson over to help. That's a good foul. He kept him from getting a dunk. Don't mind that one.
Coach McDermott up. He's signaling he wants the basket. He's out there as goaltending. Let's see, right? Goes up. Catches it right. I don't think so.
I thought it was a clean block.
Yeah, I thought he got the follow through, hit the rim, but I thought he got the ball first.
At the line, Gruber, and well, what a terrific first half he's had. 11 points, 5 rebounds.
Just a 56% free throw shooter so far on the year, Gruber.
3 of 4 in this one after that miss. Now 4 of 5. Gruber out of Solon, Iowa.
Doesn't look like a 56% shooter, just with his form. I don't care what he's done today, just his form. He looks better than that.
7th tie of the afternoon. Power lost control. Walks with it. Turnover, gives the ball to Northern Iowa. Larry Eustace does not agree with the call. He said he still had his dribble. The only problem is he's yelling at the official that didn't make the call, and now he's got his eyes set and Paul Caster. Now Northern Iowa tries to retake the lead. Andy Woodley. Northern Iowa does a nice job spreading the floor. Sieverding spins in. That's where he's so tough. Jumper off balance. Rims in.
Boy, a couple of spins there and then quick up off the floor, even though he's got a guy 6'5" covering him.
15 points for Robbie Sieverding. He and Gruber have 27 of the 33 for Northern Iowa.
Two-man show, but that's knowing where to go with the basketball and who to look for, too.
Jefferson wants a cutter. Iowa State tried to find some seams, and Morgan walked with it. Another turnover for Iowa State.
Just unforced turnover there.
It's indecisiveness, Gary.
Yeah.
So they catch the ball and they just aren't sure. Am I supposed to dribble here? Should I shoot it here?
I would love to be in that position and give me that ball. I'm going to shoot it. I'm going to step in and look to shoot that ball. Yeah,
exactly. Well, that's part of being a freshman.
I was going to say, you're junior, senior, that you're thinking nothing but that.
Sieverding over. This is Foster in. Strong. Bankman no good. An offensive foul is the call, and down there to take it was Shane Power.
Watch the penetration. Now you'll see the help come right there. Shane Power just stands, hands up, which is what you want to do to stay away from the foul.
And Brandon Nickel into the Iowa State lineup. He'll give Ricky Morgan a breather, and Nickel had worked his way into the rotation at one point this season, and looks like he's back into it. Walk on out of Kredger, Iowa. Under 2 minutes to go first half. Iowa State trails by 2. Sullivan on a kick out to Jefferson. This time he will fire. Able to keep it alive was Jefferson. A good save by Holman, and Iowa State gets it with great hustle. Sullivan on a drive, jump stop, and he knocked it down. 15 for Sullivan.
What happens sometimes here, you're pressuring up a guy, you come a little late, he takes it, and nice job of reacting and taking it right to the basket.
Crowd at Hilton Coliseum is getting into it. It's a tie game again at 33 apiece. Austin will fire a long jumper in and out, and the rebound to Power, and I'm not sure that's the shot Greg McDermott wanted right there.
No, I was just going to comment. I think you live with that, giving that shot up.
Power with a wrestling move to get rid of the defender. Missed the shot, and it'll be out of bounds to Northern Iowa. Here's a Carclass playing for keeps replay, Gary.
The defender comes, gets off balance right there, and he takes it right to the hole.
Sieverding had a notion of taking the charge, couldn't do it. And that's the Carquest playing for keeps replay. See her nearest Carquest store. Under a minute to play, tied at 33.
Let's see if the Panthers think about a 2-for-1. A lot of coaches don't like to do that, to come down and make a quick shot. I would say if you can get a good shot, that's a good percentage shot, take it.
Woodley threw it away, but able to recover is Sieverding. And Sieverding takes it all the way in, shoots it over Holman and misses. And the rebound battle won by Austin. His shot wouldn't fall. Now Holman controls, and Iowa State can basically hold it for one. It's about an 0.8 of a second difference between the shot clock and the game clock.
Austin doing some damage on the boards, but just cannot convert it back offensively.
And the shot clock basically is off for all practical purposes. So Iowa State will try to hold it here and get the last shot and take the lead into the locker room.
I will say the key to these situations, do not shoot it early. Wait. Worst you're going to be is tied at halftime.
Marcus Jefferson goes baseline. Kick out to Holman. Good drive to the hoop. And he drew a foul. Nothing more you can ask for than that. Jared Holman, the freshman, with a good decision. Enter the Budweiser Championship Ticket Giveaway. 2 all-session tickets to the Big 12 Conference Basketball Tournament in Kansas City could be yours. It's easy. Just print your name, address, zip code, and age on a postcard and send it to the address on your screen. The winner will be selected by a random drawing of all entries received before midnight, January 31st, 2002. Must be 21 years of age or older to enter. For a copy of the official rules, send a self-addressed stamped envelope to the same address. Brought to you by Budweiser, brewery fresh taste guaranteed, and Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. Well, Holman, and there's the address one more time. We'll leave it there, and then Holman will shoot the free throw. Jared knocked down the first. He's struggled at the line this year, but he made them both. And Iowa State a 2-point lead, 0.4 of a second. Sieverding from half court, missing. And an entertaining first half comes to an end with Iowa State holding a 2-point advantage. The Cyclones, after 12 lead changes, have the lead at the break, 35-33. Well, the Izizarettes are entertaining the crowd here at Hilton Coliseum. We're at halftime of an entertaining game with Iowa State leading at 35-33. Gary, that first half, pretty exciting back and forth, but Iowa State has their hands full with Sieverding and Gruber.
Well, that's exactly what they expected coming into this ball game. Those two guys have really performed well, and UNI has done a good job on the boards. I think that's one of the big differences.
Well, Jake Sullivan is really looking healthy for Iowa State right now. That makes a big difference for this team.
Well, that does. He's led the scoring for Iowa State, but they've got to get some help from Tyree Pearson. He had to sit down early with 2 quick fouls.
All right, we're at halftime, and Iowa State has a 2-point advantage over Northern Iowa. It's 35-33. Back with more in just a moment.
Do we have prizes?
Well, I just love the off-season. One thing I have to do today is take a trip to First American Bank.
You know, when I lived in this house, never had time to go to the bank. Just buried it right back here in the yard.
Somewhere over there?
Sure. I think I got it all before you bought the house.
Yeah, phone.
Excuse me.
Hey, take your time.
What are you doing?
Yard work?
First American Bank, a smarter way to bank.
I was just kidding. I knew that.
Today's First American Bank academic all-stars, Steph Stunken, majoring in business. She carries a 3.40 grade point average while participating in volleyball at Iowa State. Congratulations from First American Bank, a smarter way to bank. We're at halftime with Iowa State leading Northern Iowa 35-33, and it's our pleasure to visit with Iowa State Assistant Athletic Director and the voice of the Cyclones, Pete Taylor. Pete, first of all, can you hear any drums?
What did you say, John? I can't hear anything. This is an unbelievable halftime show, though, I will say that.
Oh, the crowd loves it, absolutely. And they've seen a pretty entertaining first half of basketball, too.
Well, it's kind of a first half that Iowa State has experienced many times this year. They have little flurries where it looks like everything's going to be all right, and get in some foul trouble, allow the other team back into the game. They've led at halftime in almost every game they played this year, so let's see if they can keep it up in the second half. They need some leadership out there, and Jake and Shane, I think, to make a few shots in order for them to win this game.
Well, let's talk about football for a minute, Pete, because you just got back from Shreveport. And just a tremendous effort by Iowa State down there. A great turnout in terms of fans. The only thing that didn't go right was the end of the game, really.
It was, and I told Eric, we were talking about it before the ball game here. The more I reflect on it, the more I think about it, the more I think everything was just about near perfect. The offensive effort, the defensive effort, the punting prior to the block punt. The coaching, certainly the coaching, they kept Alabama off balance as far as the offensive play calling was concerned, and the defense could not have been better. And to hold that team to under 300 yards is phenomenal. But, you know, for about that far or whatever it was, maybe it wasn't that far, maybe it was in, I don't know. But that's beside the point. It was a tremendous effort, and it shows me how far this athletic program, the football program, has come in the last couple of years, because Alabama's played 51 bowl games, and Iowa State hung right in there with them, and I think it shows where Dan McCartney has brought this program.
And one thing he's trying to establish, and Iowa State's trying to establish, is a reputation as a team that travels well for future bowl games. And there's a great crowd down there, and I'm guessing there's going to be a ton of Cyclone fans in Kansas City when they play Florida State.
Oh, I think so, John. I think there'll be 25,000 down there. I'd be surprised if there weren't at least that many. But what he's also established is a pool of talent. And you look at the #1 quarterback in my mind returning in the country next year, and that's a heck of a base to start from.
Well, Seneca Wallace is one of the most exciting players right now in college football, and he just is doesn't get flustered at all out on the football field.
He's a remarkable player. I talked with Larry Eustace before the game. He watched it on TV, of course, and he said, you know, I'm just fascinated by this guy. I think he's better than some of the pro quarterbacks right now. And for Larry to say that, he knows the difference between college and pros. And he says what we've been saying all along. He's Jamal Tinsley on a football field.
He didn't ask you if he's going to come out for the basketball.
No, I think he could do it, though, don't you?
All right, Pete, thanks a lot for visiting us.
Okay, John, always a pleasure.
All right, we're at halftime with the score 35-33. Iowa State has the advantage on Northern Iowa. Back to break down the statistics right after these messages. 12 lead changes in the first half, and at the break, Iowa State leads it over Northern Iowa by 2. Gary, let's take a look at the first half highlights.
This guy was a highlight by himself in that first half for UNI. Robbie Sieverding will come off wide open here, open for the three-point shot, 3 of his 15 points. And on the other side, Iowa State had Sullivan that matches up with him with 15 points at halftime. Harrell taking a little drive, gets a little one-hand shot up there, rolls it in for 2 of his 15. And then Omar Bynum right here. You don't expect him to shoot that three-pointer. He gets his first three-point shot out of the year.
Well, let's take a look at the halftime statistics brought to you by Bud Light. And you can see it's pretty even.
Yes, and the thing, UNI has shot more free throws actually than Iowa State, although Iowa State has made one more. Everything else pretty even. A good solid ball game. Shooting percentages alike.
And it's just about even on the scoreboard, too. But Iowa State has a 2-point advantage. 35-33 our score. When we come back, we'll start the second half. Stay with us. This game is at halftime. Iowa State leading 35-33 over Northern Iowa as we get ready to start the second half, and so do these guys. Same 10 that started the ball game. Gary, I think you can see why Northern Iowa has been able to upset some teams this year, including Iowa when they were ranked 11th. They won at Bradley, beat Montana, won at Wisconsin, Green Bay. This is a good collection. Good team.
Tyree Pearson, and we only had him with 2 fouls, but officially he's got 3 fouls, and that's why he sat out, only played 9 minutes in that first half.
So that's something to keep an eye on, as he and Bynum each have 3 personal fouls. Sullivan had the hot hand in the first half for Iowa State. Tries to pick up where he left off. Weak side rebound, Tyree Pearson.
We talked about the good job that UNI did in the first half rebounding. About even with Iowa State, and right away Tyree Pearson back in the lineup, slips in there and gets an offensive putback.
Well, we talked about it at halftime, Gary, and I'm guessing that Larry Eustace did too. That rebounding never seems to escape his attention.
And it looked to me smart play. It looked like UNI came out and attacked Tyree Pearson right away. And he got his hand up there, pulled it away to save the foul.
Jefferson kicked it away, and great hustle by Smith to go over and get it. Power able to retrieve for Iowa State, but it's over and back. Now the turnover gives the ball to Northern Iowa, but Smith with great hustle. Jefferson did not go after that ball strong after he kicked it away.
No, he kind of loafed at it. Fortunately, he was able to recover it, then threw it back across the timeline.
So a turnover for the Cyclones. Eric Smith will try a 3, and it's good. His second 3 of the game. The transfer from Colorado State. 1-point game. Sullivan backs up. Hands off to Jefferson. Marcus has to be careful with that ball. Power. Shane Power into traffic. Tough shot, off balance, rims out. Rebound, Holman. Iowa State gets a new shot clock. Holman will fire a jump shot left side, and he banks it in. That's his shot right there.
And he's been playing well the last couple of 3 games. He's getting more active on the boards, and I think feeling a little confidence in taking the shot and just being able to take the shot, let alone make it.
6 points in this one for the freshman, Jared Holman. Sieverding in on Holman. Banked it too hard, Power the rebound. And Iowa State is trying to add to a 3-point lead.
Good little play by Sieverding, though. He take it up, he ball faked in the air, got the defender to fall off of him, and then just missed the shot. There's a wide open shot.
And Jefferson won't take it.
Yeah, he's 5 for 9 for that 3-point line. They might want to take.
And now he throws it away, but bailing him out was Gruber, who touched it before it went out of bounds. Let's take a look at the foul trouble in this one, because this is going to be a factor as things go on. Gary, you mentioned Pearson has 3, so does Bynum. Nearly a steal on the inbounds, a big collision in center court, and Sieverding all alone for a layup. 17 for Robbie Sieverding. UNI coming up with the loose ball, and they have cut the deficit to 1.
It's a hustling team. I don't think you're going to out-hustle them. You're going to have to match them.
Well, that's what Steve Alford was so upset about after his team lost to Northern Iowa. He says, we got out-hustled. There's a rebound to Middendorf. Sieverding pushes it. Sullivan momentarily knocked it away. Good defensive work. They get it down low to Gruber. He works on the freshman Holman. Tough shot. And then Holman fouled him on the rebound. And that's 3 on Jared Holman, another post player with 3 fouls for Iowa State.
And that's hustle by Gruber. He looked like he had him held off. Let's watch right here. Gets a bump, gets away with it, comes off. But watch Gruber. He anticipates that ball is going to go across. And then you saw Holman rake him over the shoulder. Just great hustle by Gruber on the inside.
Gruber's a great example that rebounding. There's a blocking foul called on Shane Power. But Gruber's a great example that rebounding isn't all about how big you are or how high you can jump. He just has a nose for the ball.
Right, nose for the ball position and effort. You got to give effort to do what he did there.
1-point game, 16:50 to play. It has been tight throughout. Inside, tough shot by Middendorf, and Aaron Middendorf was able to bank it in. And now a timeout called as somebody has some debris out on the court. They'll clean it up and get back to it. A little tape got loose, it looks like. Well, 1-point advantage for Northern Iowa.
God, I think going back to the Cyclones on offense, I think just what you said early in the first half, there's times when they're just hesitant to pull the trigger. And when they've got shots, they take it probably into trouble.
Foul called. You can see on that graphic that Iowa State has done a great job holding opponents down in field goal shooting. Northern Iowa for this game is at 46%. 13 lead changes in this one. Right now it's UNI with a 1-point edge. And Pearson walks with it. Just that first step. Yeah. And on the turnover, Northern Iowa will get it. Gary, you can't say enough about the job that Greg McDermott has done with his team. They were picked for last in the Missouri Valley Conference. It was unanimous that they were going to finish last in the Missouri Valley. And they are at the top of that league right now after picking up a road victory over Bradley early on. Tough shot falls by Eric Smith. He's got 8. Take a look at the Budweiser quick stat. The turnover is Iowa State with 9 now.
Now, if this is the last place team in the Valley's pretty strong. And they have been playing well.
Boy, Holman was wide open underneath. Now Pearson has it, and that's easy for Tyree.
Gruber smart there. 2 fouls, only a sophomore, but he laid off instead of going up after it, picking up a third and probably sitting down. He's more valuable to be in the game.
Iowa State within 1. The crowd wants some defense. And on a backdoor cut, Sieverding had it, but first it was an illegal screen by Middendorf. And on the foul, Iowa State gets it back.
Dermott up off the bench right now, complaining about those screens.
Well, anytime Tyree Pearson catches it down low, it's pretty much over. Tyree with 10, and Iowa State is back within 1. By as many as 8 in the first half, but it has seesawed back and forth ever since, and it's a 1-point game now. Here's a couple Budweiser quick stats for you. Look at the turnovers. Iowa State had a big advantage early on. Now they've turned it over more, and Northern Iowa has turned it into points. So the Cyclones with their work cut out for them in the last 15:45 of this one. They will have the ball, trailing by 1. Jake Sullivan had 15 first-half points. He hasn't scored here in the second. Eric Smith has the defensive assignment on him. This is Jefferson into the paint. Tough shot, missing. Holman, good effort. Jefferson has it. Shovels to Pearson. They'll go for a three-point play, and that's great team hustle by the Cyclones.
Good movement of the basketball, a little flip pass in there, and then strong hands at the end by Tyree Pearson. Holman keeps it alive, a little flip pass. He goes up. He gets really hammered right there, but his strength enables him to take it up. Gets the basket, another look at it. Then you're going to come back and look at Tyree shooting the free throw.
And Pearson now with 13. And Iowa State has the lead, 44-42. Andy Woodley. We have had 14 lead changes in this game. They throw it down low to Gruber. He's double teamed. Iowa State doing a nice job collapsing down low against Gruber now. Sieverding tries to get it back to him. He's double teamed again, and he was fouled by Sullivan. Jake Sullivan picks up his first foul.
It was kind of one of those fouls where really I'm not going after the ball. I'm just sticking my hand in there.
That's the third team foul for Iowa State here in the second half. Each team with 3. Middendorf waits for a cutter. Sieverding gets loose for a moment and then walks with it. Shane Power didn't give up after he lost him momentarily.
When McDermott close to getting the tee, the official said, stay back, but he's still chirping.
He's fiery, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, there's a fiery guy on the other sideline, too.
He himself played 3 games against the Cyclones when he was a Panther. I think 14 points is his high game.
Holman gets rid of it to Jefferson. I really like the decision-making of Jared Holman in this game. He's playing better and better. Jefferson left alone. He'll fire a 3. Got it! He's 6 of 10 on the season from out there. He knocked it down, and Iowa State has a 5-point lead. And now a foul called on the Cyclones. It's going to go on Shane Power.
Again, the little hesitation dribble. Sieverding, little guard, knows how to play. There's Jefferson. Turned it down. Now he's looking, and all of a sudden he goes, rises up and hits that 3-point shot.
Andy Woodley with it. Iowa State up to a 5-point advantage. That's the biggest lead we've seen in a long time in this ball game. Sieverding, tough shot, denied by Shane Power. Sieverding got it back. Inside to Gruber. Pump fake got Holman in the air, and he drew the foul. It's 4 now on Jared Holman.
That's what 6'5" will do for you on a smaller guard. Timed it right. Shane Power, let's see if we see it here now first. Oh, we get the block. There's the block by Power. Now they go inside. Holman holding up, his hands up. Oh, he got into him a little bit, but not much.
Gruber, as you mentioned, Gary, doesn't look bad at the free throw line for a guy that was really struggling it. And Holman leaves with those 4 fouls. You know, it's better to see a freshman too aggressive, though, Gary, than not aggressive enough. And he's really played aggressive. Missed the second free throw. Bynum the rebound for Iowa State. Cyclones a 4-point lead in the ball. Jake Sullivan trying to add to it. Tough jumper in the lane. Got it!
It looked like he was into a group of trees right there, and they kind of all folded away, and he knocked it down.
17 for Sullivan. It's a 10-1 run for Iowa State. Gruber inside.
Again, that's good execution. You come across, put the ball away from the defender. He goes, gets it, and then is freed up to lay it in.
This is a key point in the game for Northern Iowa, how they handle Iowa State's run. And did a great job that time of getting it inside to their good post player, David Gruber. Zone defense right now for Northern Iowa. 4-point game. Sullivan the hot hand. Jake into traffic. Good lead for Bynum. Knocked out of bounds. Iowa State will keep it with 15 to shoot. Watch Jake Sullivan a minute ago.
Crossover, looking right into a couple, 3 guys, but his little ball fake there moved the big man off, and then he gets the shot down.
Jake says, they can't guard me. Shane Power shot is tying a shoe down there. Everything seems to be in order now. Power's been quiet. Just 2 points in the game for Shane, but there's Jefferson inside.
Good inbounds plays.
So Iowa State has opened up a 6-point lead. Power on Sieverding on the perimeter. He had a blocked shot a moment ago.
They're really trying to go inside the Gruber, looks like.
Foster fouled on a 3-point shot, and he buried it. Chris Foster will try for a 4-point play, and Gary, for the umpteenth time this season, Iowa State fouls a 3-point shooter.
Yeah, you just wonder how many times that's going to happen. I mean, goes up, and he goes straight at him and flies right into him. Instead of jumping straight up and try to bother rather. Body just goes right in, releases it, hits nothing but net, and there's a, oh, he doesn't get the 4-point play.
So Foster misses the free throw, but Iowa State's lead is down to 3. Under 13 minutes to play. It's been an exciting game at Hilton Coliseum.
John, we talked about the last game that Iowa State's probably committed more fouls on the shooter this year than you've seen in maybe the last 2 years.
Well, Jefferson threw it away, and Marcus Jefferson with another turnover gives the ball back to Northern Iowa.
Probably should have just powered that to the basket. Probably picked up a foul. Iowa State's got 16 fouls here in the second half. UNI only 3.
There you see the rebound advantage for the Cyclones. Now a foul called on Shane Power as he ran into Middendorf near the half-court line. 3 fouls for Shane Power.
Again, teammates, he has no idea that's coming. A teammate has to be talking to him. You have to talk and let your teammates know that screens are coming. Well, here he comes. He doesn't see him right there, and Tyree Pearson's behind. If Tyree wasn't talking, he needs to be talking to him.
No question. At the free throw line, Aaron Middendorf. So Iowa State puts Northern Iowa in the bonus with 12:32 to go in the ballgame. And Middendorf knocks down the free throw. 17 fouls here in the second half for Iowa State. Northern Iowa has just 3. Middendorf missed the second. The rebound to Bynum.
You know, unusual there. UNI took all but 1 guy off the foul line. Had 3 guys back.
They drop into a zone.
2-3 zone.
Jefferson hit one out there a moment ago. Sullivan, jump stop again. Tough shot. Got it off the rim. Jefferson, the rebound. He'll go for a 3-point play.
Well, we talked about Jefferson being a good offensive rebounder, but what happens on that, too, is when you penetrate, it draws people to the ball, and that lets the guy on the offside get free for the rebound. There you see it, and he comes right in between the guys right there, picks it up. Nice job of following.
Well, that's the drawback. Jefferson missing the free throw. The drawback of playing a zone. You don't have an assigned body to put against somebody, so lots of offensive rebound opportunities, and Iowa State took advantage there. It's a 4-point lead for the Cyclones. Smith on a backdoor cut to Sieverding. Good pass to Gruber, and he banked it in. Great execution again by Northern Iowa.
Good ball handling. They get the back cut. They cover up on it, gives another pass off, and get the easy 2.
17 now for Gruber, and it's a 2-point game.
We got a junked up defense again. They're back to triangle and 2.
Sullivan knocks down a long 3. 20 for Jake. And Iowa State's up by 5. That's back-to-back 20-point games for Jake Sullivan. And I would say his injury problems are pretty much behind him right now.
He's zeroing in on his career high, 22.
Crowd wants some defense.
Boy, they're spreading on. They got 4 guys on the perimeter looking for Gruber on the inside.
Sieverding was fouled by Pearson, and Tyree Pearson just picked up his 4th foul. And that's great awareness by Sieverding. He had Pearson on him on the perimeter. He knows he has an advantage of quickness, and he put the pressure on Tyree.
Takes him. Now, this is where he's got to turn him loose. Right there. Tyree Pearson has got to stay in the ball game. Gruber on the other end of the time turned his man loose to keep away from picking up his 3rd. This was Tyree Pearson's 4th.
Sieverding now with 18 points, and Pearson will have to leave Adam Schopper into the Iowa State lineup. So Pearson with 4 fouls, Holman with 4 fouls, and Power and Bynum each playing with 3.
What UNI did right there was they just opened up the middle. Had 4 guys on the perimeter.
19 now for Sieverding. It's a 3-point game, but Iowa State has the advantage thanks to the long-range bombing of Jake Sullivan. Cyclones by 3.
At Advance Auto
841 11th Street downtown and 475 Ellis Road in Waukee.
Tell them the Puckett Boys sent ya. And the Puckett Girls. And the cousins too.
11:06 to go, and Iowa State leads at 56-53. Jake Sullivan with 20 points so far this afternoon. There's the numbers.
John, second half play we talk about for the Cyclones. UNI now shooting it at 51+% in the second half, 44 in the first. And that's what has gotten Iowa State in trouble a lot of times this year is that second half play. They kind of seem to give in and don't play as tough in that second half.
And now with Pearson out of there with 4 fouls, it becomes even more important to clamp down on the defensive end.
And part of that, again, as we talked about, due to foul trouble. You got frontline players and big guys on the inside setting down.
Marcus Jefferson left alone. Now Severton comes out to get him. Adam Shopper's into the game for Iowa State. Tough jumper, Sullivan, and he drew a foul on Foster. Sullivan will shoot 2.
Foul on number 21.
That's the other side of the coin on this end of the floor. You cannot foul Jake Sullivan. Watch him go up. He gets in. He comes down with the hand instead of going straight up with those hands and staying away from the fouls. And he knows that he committed the sin right there. You didn't want to foul this guy.
Sullivan can match a career high if he hits both free throws. Had 22 against St. Louis earlier this year, and I believe he had 22 against Kansas last year. But he missed the second free throw, and the rebound controlled by Gruber. 4-point game. We approach the midway point of the second half. Andy Woodley guarded closely by Sullivan. Woodley is an assist guy. Only scored 4 points all year. He's had 32 assists in over 130 minutes of play. Down low, Gruber. Out to Woodley. Back in, 2-man game. Gruber, left hand, denied by Power. Second block of the game for Shane Power. Here he's at the other end to Jefferson, and a foul.
That was a great job of turning from the block to the defense to the offense and getting advantage down on the other end.
Shane Power had 3 blocks in the last game. He's had 2 today.
Comes over, good block right there, and Sullivan now waiting, gets the pass right over the top of the defender. Then the pass across court right there, finished, gets fouled, goes to the line for 2.
Marcus Jefferson knocks down the first. Kind of quietly here, Marcus Jefferson's having a pretty nice game. 12 points, 5 rebounds. 3 assists, as you can see. 6-point game.
And probably you look at that defensive play the other end by Shopper. He did not give him the baseline, turned him into the middle where he could get some help.
Adam Shopper playing better and better as this freshman season wears on. This is Gruber in on Shopper, and he banked it in.
Okay, Gruber is tough. He knows how to shape up, and they know how to deliver the ball to him, too.
19 points for David Gruber, the transfer from Kirkwood Community College in Cedar Rapids. Division II junior college. They were one of the top 10 teams in the country last year. Shopper, baseline jumper, missing. Bynum kept it alive, and Omar converts. That's what they need out of Omar Bynum.
Yep. Hit the offensive glass, but what I liked about Shopper was he didn't hesitate. He got the ball, was wide open, and he shot it.
Severting stepped out of bounds. Iowa State gets it on the turnover, and Greg McDermott wants a timeout. Omar Bynum going to work on the offensive boards, and the Cyclones have turned a 2-point halftime advantage into a 6-point advantage right now. 9:29 to go. Cyclones lead it 61-55. 9:29 to go, and Iowa State has a 6-point lead. Why? Well, because they're hitting the offensive boards and turning it into points. Omar Bynum did it the last time.
Yep. 7 more offensive rebound, but you got 8-point differential there.
Rebounding was dead even at halftime, and right now Iowa State has a 25-18 advantage on the board. So they have out-rebounded Northern Iowa 10-3 here in the second half. So the Cyclones with a 6-point lead and the ball right now. Trying to get a little distance.
And John Sullivan's been a lot more aggressive in this game, almost like he said, I'm taking it on my own back here to make some shots.
Jefferson almost had it taken away by Woodley, who was 6th in the nation in steals a year ago. And now it's It is taken away momentarily, but Jefferson got it back and then threw it into the backcourt. That was deflected. Shot clock at 3. Sullivan on a drive. Had it denied, and it'll go over to Northern Iowa. Well, good defensive work by the Panthers.
Thought Sullivan was going up with the shot. Wasn't quite aware, or thought he had a little more time.
So Iowa State's lead is 6. Woodley on a backdoor lob. Chopper momentarily knocked it away, but Gruber's able to get it and score. He has 21.
And that's a play that I watched Iowa State practice. They were looking at that play. They ran it over and over again, and yet they still got caught.
Assistant coach Randy Brown has a look on his face like, gosh, we knew it was coming too, and we still didn't stop him from getting it. 4-point advantage for the Cyclones. Sullivan again. Tough shot, blocked by Foster. Cleared by Middendorf, and here comes Sieverding. 4-point game.
Good defense by Foster.
Now he has it on the other end. Chris Foster, a bounce pass down low to Gruber. That's their bread and butter. Bynum, the defensive rebound.
The thing that Chopper's doing right now, he's making him shoot over the top of him, so he's got to shoot it down. He's not giving him that edge where he gets a body on there and a chance to use the glass and slide in there.
Bynum puts it on the floor. This is Jefferson. Shot clock at 13 is Shane Power. Dribbles it out high. Iowa State gets a foul called on Foster as Shane Power was trying to create something, and that's 17 fouls.
17 foul.
And Chris Foster has just picked up his 4th personal foul. So he will have to leave for a moment. Eric Smith is back in. 1-1 for Shane Power. Jerry Shane with only 1 basket today.
Yes, he's been quiet.
He's done some other things nicely. He's had a couple of blocked shots. He's had some rebounds. 5 rebounds so far in the game for Shane.
Playing some good defense.
Yeah, on Sieverding.
Yep.
That's right.
It's Jefferson now. They've had to slide him off of there. Jefferson's been covering Sieverding the last several possessions.
Shane Power made them both. And Iowa State has opened up a 6-point lead, 63-57, 7:27 to go.
Today's contestant in the Panthers IP Trivia Challenge.
Iowa State's lead is 6 with 7:27 to go. Let's take a look at some other scores from around the nation. And a top 25 battle. Wake Forest holds off a rally by Marquette to win it by 5. And DePaul a 1-point advantage on Missouri, that game in Chicago. Kansas State a big winner over Fairleigh Dickinson. Lots more college basketball tonight. This is a busy day around the nation as they get in the final non-conference games, a lot of these teams.
John, 7:27 to go. What's going to be key here is possessions. Make sure you come up with a good possession. You get a good shot each time. Get the ball up on the rim. There's that pick at the high.
On the switch, Bynum has Sieverding. Now let's see if they go right back to Sieverding. Bynum on him. Middendorf kicks it out. Smith will try a 3, and he got it. It's his 3rd of the game. 11 points for Eric Smith.
But see, Shane Power did what you should do in that 3-point. He went after to the side where he doesn't come into the guy and get a chance to foul him.
Sullivan off a screen. Hesitation dribble. Good pass to Jefferson, and they'll wave it off. He walks with it. So another turnover for the Cyclones. And Eric Smith, with that 3 a moment ago, has Northern Iowa within 3 and under 7 minutes to play. This team will not go away.
No. They're playing with a lot of confidence. They just keep running and executing what they do.
This is Smith again. Got it.
Well, when you get a hot hand, go to him. That's exactly what they did. They put Gruber out high. They took him down, brought him off the pick.
It's the 9th tie of the afternoon, 63 apiece. Northern Iowa has scored the last 6 points. And Smith has been the guy responsible. Power on a drive, tough shot.
John, he just had to have enough spin on that because he was shot low to get it up off the board and crawl in.
Smith has power on him on the defensive end. Goes by him with a dribble. Leaves it to Gruber. And a foul called. Sullivan thought he had a clean steal. It's good help defense by Jake Sullivan, though.
And it was a good foul. I mean, he was behind him, but if he doesn't foul him, it's probably going to be a stuff.
It's a 1-and-1. It's not in the act of shooting. So Gruber shoots a 1-and-1, and as we mentioned, this season he has not been a good free throw shooter. 56%, but he buries that one.
Watch him come in here. Pass off. Here comes Sullivan from behind. You see him there. He gets him across there. He gets him on the arms first and then rakes the ball.
All right, Tyree Pearson's going to come back in with those 4 personal fouls at the 6:01 mark. So Pearson in, Bynum out of the Iowa State lineup. And Gruber missed the second free throw. Tyree clears the board. It's a 1-point advantage for Iowa State.
See if they look to come back to Tyree down low.
Shane Powers scored the last hoop on a drive. And they do a good job of help defense on him. Oh, open was Pearson underneath, but Jefferson couldn't find him in time. Now Jefferson does find Pearson. If at first you don't succeed, 15 for Tyree. 3-point advantage, Iowa State.
A lot of dribbling that time, but the Cyclones came away with a bucket pass.
Timeout, Greg McDermott.
This is a good timeout on his part. Every time the crowd's got going, he's gotten a timeout.
Enter the Budweiser Championship ticket giveaway, and 2 all-session tickets to the Big 12 Conference Basketball Tournament in Kansas City could be yours. It's easy. Just print your name, address, zip code, and age on a postcard and send it to the address on your screen. The winner will be selected by a random drawing of all entries received before midnight, January 31st, 2002. You must be 21 years of age or older to enter. For a copy of the official rules, send a self-addressed stamped envelope to the same address. Brought to you by Budweiser, brewery fresh taste guaranteed, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Here comes this last play by Iowa State. Tyree Pearson calling for ball, doesn't get it. Now the little penetration. That penetration gets him freed up right there for the easy basket. And that's what UNI has been doing a lot down here. They've been opening up, they penetrate, they get a little bit more quickness out in the guard court. They beat somebody, come to help, and they're good at giving the ball off.
15 points, 6 boards for Pearson. He's 7 of 9 from the floor. Iowa State's lead is 3.
They got a one-on-one situation up Pearson. They're just isolating.
And he got the block on Middendorf, but Middendorf got it back. Now it's Gruber again, and he walked with it. I tell you what, this guy is a force on the offensive boards, but he walked with the basketball there.
I'll tell you, it was a smart play by UNI. They took Pearson one-on-one. He keeps his hands up. He gets a block right there. Now he just kind of stands there, and the guy took it into him trying to draw it. And finally get a travel in Gruber.
Sullivan gets the defender to fall down, backs up, fires a 3, and hits it. It's a career high for Jake Sullivan. 24, and Iowa State leads it by 6.
That showed a lot of poise. When the man went down, instead of hustling and shooting the shot quick, he backed it off, took his time, and knocked it down.
And Sieverding took it right at the Cyclone defense again and drew the 4th foul of the day on Shane Power. I stand corrected. It was Holman with the foul, and that's his 5th. So Holman trying to come over and help gets his 5th foul. And Iowa State will have to do without Jared Holman the rest of the way. But the freshman had 6 points again and had 3 boards to go with it. Sieverding to the free throw line where he's pretty much automatic.
You can just see the confidence that he oozes with when he goes up there like, give me the ball, do my routine, knock it down.
And Sieverding hit them both. 21 for Robbie Sieverding. That last 3-pointer for Sullivan puts him in 8th place on Iowa State's all-time list. He's just a sophomore. Power was fouled. Well, let's take a look at our best play of the game, brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. The best part is our people. And Jake Sullivan, midway through his sophomore season, climbing that chart in 3-pointers.
And you see him right there. Just did not rush anything when his defender fell down. He just took his time, backed it up, and shot it down.
Power's free throw is good. Shane Power.
McDermott, well aware who can shoot free throws. He pointed to his player, putting both hands to his head. Think who you're fouling out there. Didn't argue the foul again at all.
Second free throw is good by Shane Power. 6-point advantage for Iowa State. Woodley will check out. Chris Foster in there. Take a look at the free throw shooting. Iowa State is at 19 of 22. That's big. Smith working on Power. It's a steal for Marcus Jefferson. Iowa State a 6-point lead in the ball.
Big defensive play there again. I don't know if he thought he was going back door.
Jefferson working with the dribble. Bounce pass to Bynum. Omar backing in on Middendorf. Tough shot. Got it. 8 for Bynum. Iowa State up by 8. It's their biggest lead since early in the game. They try to deliver the knockout punch at Hilton Coliseum.
That's what you want to make them shoot it in now. You want to send them to that foul line.
Foster, tough jumper for 3. Missing. Weak side rebound. Power. And Iowa State has a chance to go up 10. Pearson, quick move. Banked it in. It's an 11-2 run for Iowa State. And the Cyclones have a 10-point lead. And we're seeing the best stretch of basketball that Iowa State has played all season on the offensive end.
Boy, and Larry Eustace's got him out at half court. He come charging out there to get them together.
A timeout called with 3:20 to go, and Iowa State up by 10. Tyree Pearson now with 17 points.
A little fake to the inside, takes it to the outside and gets a little jumper, a kiss off the glass. Pumps the fist a little bit, and never too much emotion out of Tyree. Watch it again.
Tyree Pearson so far this afternoon, despite limited minutes because of foul trouble, has put up some pretty good numbers. 17 points, 6 rebounds. He's 8 of 10 from the floor. Here's our game reset. The possession arrow goes to Northern Iowa. Both teams are in the bonus. In fact, Northern Iowa is shooting 2 free throws the rest of the way. But the Cyclones have a 10-point lead, and Northern Iowa is running out of timeouts. Big possession here for the Panthers. Sieverding to Gruber, and he's fouled. A holding foul on Marcus Jefferson will send Gruber to the line. And David Gruber, who had a career-high 22 against Iowa, has matched that with 22 against Iowa State. So Gruber to the line. 22 against Iowa, 22 against Iowa State.
His last play, let's see. Gruber will come off. That ball went out high. Defender probably got caught up tight where he should have backed off of his man. 2 passes removed there.
So Bynum now with 4 fouls. Gruber hit 1 of 2 to give him a new career high 23. Timeout on the floor. Greg McDermott's team trails by 9. 3:17 to play. We'll be right back. I'm Tom Walters along with Gary Thompson. We have had a fun basketball game this afternoon. Northern Iowa, arguably in blue. That's what the refs will say. We'll call it purple. But Iowa State in the white. 9-point advantage for the Cyclones.
Iowa State not out of danger yet because this is a club that has some guys that can score. They've shot it well all year, 46% of the team.
Sullivan was lucky to get the foul there.
Yeah.
Middendorf gets it. Sullivan will shoot free throws. And boy, if you're Greg McDermott, that hurts. You think you have the trap.
Yeah. Good trap comes through.
Full acting from Jake.
Yeah.
Jake Sullivan shooting 1-1 for the Cyclones.
There wasn't much of a grab on the guy that foul was called, and then the other guy got the ball.
Jake Sullivan to the free throw line for Iowa State. He had 15 points in the first half. He now has 25 for the game, which is a new career high for Jake Sullivan. There you can see the numbers. Got them both. Iowa State has its biggest lead of the day at 11. 3:10 to go in the game. Sieverding will have to heat up if UNI is going to win this one.
Well, they had the clear out for the drive where he gets a chance to shoot or get the foul line.
Tough shot, Sieverding, he drew a foul. Larry Eustace doesn't like that call. called on Marcus Jefferson. Take a look, Gary.
Sieverding right here comes in. He puts the shoulder into him. Comes up. I don't know if they got him with the... Didn't look like a bad defensive play because he really put the shoulder in, but that's what you got to do from the Panthers standpoint. You got to try to draw something. You kill the clock. You get your good free throw shooter up there with a chance to nail 2 points.
Sieverding is at 10 of 11 in this game. Missed the second one, and the rebound to Jefferson. Pressure now from the Panthers. Iowa State with the numbers. Howard to Bynum for the finish.
Just barely crawls it over their end. That's a good job of attacking. They're going to press you. You beat it, attack on the other end.
Iowa State has gotten a nice contribution from Omar Bynum. Sullivan called for a foul as he bumped into Middendorf.
You know, Sullivan didn't like it, the call, but I think it's a good call. He sat there again, nobody able to let him know. You gotta help those teammates. There, Coachy Stacy Horowitz has some patience down there. Have patience. Get a 12-point lead.
Free throw is good by Middendorf. Our next televised game is Monday, New Year's Eve at 6 o'clock. Morris Brown against Iowa State. Middendorf made 1 of 2, and Northern Iowa continues to struggle at the line, while Iowa State is at just about everything from the line. Larry Stacey says, give me motion.
Yep, they just want to run some clock here.
2:25 to go. Iowa State's lead is 11. 80 points for Iowa State. This is one of their higher scoring efforts of the season. Good backdoor cut. Bynum drew a foul. Gary, Omar Bynum has really given Iowa State a contribution off the bench today. Double-figure scoring. They have needed him off the bench. He also has 7 rebounds.
Right. Yep. He's been a factor. He's actually gone away from this team for several games. He hasn't been productive at all, but right when they've needed him most today, he's come through.
Bynum hits the free throw. 11 points now for Omar. Well, he was hot early in the season, had some big games, and this is the best he's played in several weeks. Iowa State by 13. And what was a nip and tuck game has suddenly become all Cyclones.
And actually, Iowa State's defense really picked it up. There's a couple block shots.
Sieverding misses a tough shot. Bynum gets his 8th rebound. Sullivan pushing it to Pearson, but he didn't see it coming. Bynum able to recover.
Now he wants to play it cautious, take it out.
Timeout called by Larry Eustachy. Beside himself there as they were throwing it all over the place. Still in Jake Sullivan, we have a 13-point lead. We don't need to throw it ahead of the pack. Let's take a look at what's coming up for Iowa State, because the non-conference schedule is closing out. We told you we'll have that Morris Brown game for you on Monday. Then here we go. At Baylor, Missouri, Oklahoma State, at Colorado.
Two of the top teams in the country is coming in here to Hilton Coliseum. You got to go down to Baylor, who's playing well. Coach Bliss has a couple of great freshmen down there. But with that team this year, it's going to be tough as nails from here on in.
Colorado has David Harrison, the terrific freshman out of Memphis, who's the brother of DJ Harrison, who was their leading scorer a year ago. 13-point advantage, Iowa State. And now Northern Iowa forced probably to foul, I would think. They don't want to foul this guy, though, Jake Sullivan. Well, they got Josh Wright in there as the designated fouler, and now Foster commits the foul. And I think he just fouled out of the game. It says Foster. Now they lose a 3-point shooting threat because Foster fouls out.
Robbie Sieverding, Aaron Middendorf.
Take a look at the scoring from Iowa State. 4 different players in double figures. As a team, Iowa State, 82 points in this game. Their season high was the Boston College game, I believe, when they scored 81. So,
and this is what's been lacking in the last few games, is that distribution of offense. There's been 1 or 2 guys, and him getting Iowa State hasn't getting offense out of the other people.
Yeah, Foster has the 5 fouls, and Greg McDermott knows it. He just wants to take the full minute and try to freeze the free throw shooter, Marcus Jefferson. Andy Woodley will check back in. You might remember Andy's brother Matt played at Drake and now is an assistant coach to former Iowa State assistant Terry Carroll out at Denver.
And another brother that just fullback, just down at the Independence Bowl.
Joe Woodley scored the only touchdown for Iowa State. Marcus Jefferson hits the free throw. And of course, Mike Woodley is their father. He's an assistant coach for the Cyclones and has been ever since Dan McCarney was hired.
You know, from Iowa State's standpoint, I think this is a game they really needed. They needed to win against a quality opponent and getting ready for the conference season.
Well, Northern Iowa is number 51 on the RPI standings. This is going to be the best win of the year for Iowa State so far. Power with a steal.
He got grabbed right there, Power.
And he'll get a three-point play instead. And it's an intentional foul. Well, Power was fouled here mid-court. They didn't call that one. But he's happy about it because he gets a bucket plus the foul, and Iowa State's going to get the ball, too. And that's going to put the finishing touches on this one.
Now watch the foul right here where he grabs him. A lack of foul here ends up really hurting the Panthers because you said he's going to get the layup, a chance for the free throw, and then you're going to get the ball back. Well, this score right now is not indicative in any way of what this game has been all about.
No question. Power's free throw is good. You mentioned it, though, Gary. It's the defensive effort by Iowa State in the second half that's really been the key.
And we talked about having to have a good second half performance. This is where they've been breaking down.
Well, we said Shane Power was having a quiet afternoon. Right now he has 12 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. He's doing a pretty good job of late. And Iowa State on an 8-0 run.
Josh Wright in for Northern
Designated
Iowa.
foulers come into the game for Northern Iowa. Here at Hilton Coliseum in Ames. Final minutes. John Walters and Gary Thompson with you. And Iowa State has opened up a 19-point lead, but this game was nip and tuck for the first 30 minutes.
What you want to do now is just pass the ball. You can pass it.
Yep, keep it moving.
As soon as the guy's open, give it to him, just like that.
And Northern Iowa has decided not to foul. And there's really no point in it right now. Minute 18 to go. 13 on the shot clock, 1:12 on the game clock, and Iowa State goes to work.
And Iowa State will have to shoot it here in about 5 seconds.
Pearson on a turnaround jumper, missing. And look at the hustle. Marcus Jefferson gets the offensive rebound. Now Sullivan says, let's reset it again. Listen to this crowd at Hilton Coliseum appreciating the effort of the Cyclones this afternoon. This has been their best performance, probably since the Boston College game, but I think probably their best performance of the season.
I agree with you, John, and the crowd responding to this team as Shane Power just stands there and holds the ball, and UNI lets him.
8 to shoot it now. Power spins in, tries the jumper, and the rebound to Gruber. 28 seconds to play, and a timeout called by Greg McDermott. He would like to get somebody into the game. He wants to get Ryan Paulson into the game for, I believe, his first action of the season.
Yeah.
A walk-on out of Belmont Columbia High School, so nice gesture for Coach McDermott. He'd like to get a local kid into the game.
From Goodell, Iowa. Might as well give him a shot. Set him up.
This is Paulson. 18 seconds to go, and Iowa State is going to come out of here with a nice victory to go to 7-6. Josh Wright had it blocked. Pearson comes down with it, and they don't want to foul him. The game is going to run out. Iowa State a winner over Northern Iowa, 88-69. The Cyclones led it by just 2 at the half. But thanks to a great effort in the second half, the Cyclones pull away to win it by 19. Good win for the Cyclones, Gary.
It really was, and as I said, the defense in the second half really shut them down.
So Larry Eustachy's team will close out non-conference play against Morris Brown Monday night. We'll have it for you at 6 o'clock on the Cyclone Television Network. The final today, 88-69 Cyclones. This has been a presentation of ESPN Plus, the worldwide leader in collegiate sports television.